Picture this: a flat, open landscape. The sun is burning low across the horizon. There is no city behind you, no road, no signal, no sound except wind moving through dry grass and the distant pop of fire. You have eaten. You are sheltered. Nothing is hunting you at this particular moment. And now, for the next several hours, you have absolutely nothing to do. No task.
No obligación.
No screen to reach for. Just time moving slowly, in every direction. For a brief moment, that might sound like paradise. But hold that image a little longer. Hold it for hours, then days, then across an entire human lifetime. The question stops feeling peaceful very quickly. We have always assumed that early humans were too consumed by survival to experience anything as modern and self-indulgent as boredom. That the ancient mind was purely functional. Hunt, eat, sleep, repeat. That free time, if it existed at all, was simply rest between crises. But this assumption, comfortable as it is, turns out to be almost entirely wrong. And dismantling it opens something far more surprising. The idea that boredom was not a weakness of the early human mind, but one of its most powerful engines. Here is the real question this story is asking. Not just what ancient humans did when they were bored, but what that restlessness, that reaching, that refusal to simply sit still produced across hundreds of thousands of years. Because the answer is not small. The answer is, in the most literal sense possible, everything. Start with the evidence that challenges the standard picture. In 1966, anthropologist Marshall Sahlins published a study of the Kung San people of the Kalahari Desert, one of the few surviving populations still living a way of life structurally similar to that of our prehistoric ancestors. What Sahlins found stopped other researchers in their tracks. The Kung worked, on average, between 15 and 20 hours per week to meet all of their basic needs. Not per day, per week. The rest of the time they sat, they talked, they rested. They existed in a condition of abundant, unstructured time that most people in the modern industrialized world would struggle to even imagine. Sahlins called them the original affluent society, not because they had wealth, but because they had something rarer. They had time, and they had it constantly. This changes the entire frame. The early human was not a creature in perpetual emergency. They were, for long stretches of every single day, a creature with nothing particular to do, which means boredom, that restless, electric, quietly unbearable sensation of unoccupied time, was not an invention of the modern world. It was one of the oldest human experiences in existence. But here is where the story changes. Because boredom, as uncomfortable as it is not passive. It is, neurologically speaking, a form of pressure. The brain, under conditions of low external stimulation, does not simply shut down. It searches, it reaches, it generates. And what the earliest humans generated, when left with nothing but time and their own minds, was the entire foundation of human culture. Consider what was found in 2008 in the Hohlfels cave in southern Germany. Researchers excavating the site uncovered a flute, carved from the hollow wing bone of a griffin vulture, with 5 precisely spaced finger holes. The instrument was dated to approximately 40,000 years ago. Someone, before the existence of agriculture, before cities, before writing, before any institution we would recognize as civilization, had sat down with a bone and a stone tool and spent hours, possibly days, fashioning a musical instrument. Not because it fed them, not because it defended them, because something in their mind demanded expression, and they had the time to pursue it. Now consider something even older. In 2004, archaeologists working at Blombos Cave on the southern coast of South Africa uncovered a collection of small shells with deliberately drilled holes, coated in red ochre, strung together in patterns. These objects were not tools. They were not weapons. They served no immediate survival function whatsoever. They were ornamentation. They were jewelry. And they were 75,000 years old. Somebody, 750,000 years before the Industrial Revolution, sat down in the long hours of an unstructured afternoon and decided to make something beautiful. The real issue was not that these people had nothing to do. The real issue is what doing nothing did to them. It activated something. Neuroscience, now has a name for the brain region most responsible for this process. The default mode network is a system of interconnected regions that becomes most active not when we are focused on a task, but precisely when we are not. When attention drifts, when the mind wanders, when we are, in the colloquial sense, bored. And the default mode network is responsible for some of the most distinctly human cognitive functions we possess: imagination, forward planning, self-reflection, empathy, and the ability to mentally simulate events that have not yet occurred. This is not a coincidence. Boredom, the experience of time that feels too slow, that itching awareness that the present moment is insufficient, requires a concept of time that most species simply do not have. To be bored, you must be able to imagine a different moment, a better one that does not yet exist. This means that boredom is not a failure of the mind. It is proof of one of its most sophisticated capacities. It is the mind demonstrating that it can conceive of what is not there. And that capacity, once ignited, did not stay idle. Those early humans sitting around fires with empty hours ahead of them began to ask questions. Not practical questions about which fruits were safe to eat or where the river ran in dry season. Those questions had already been answered. They began to ask the harder ones. What happens when someone dies and they do not come back? What is the thing in the sky that moves but cannot be touched? Why does the same dream keep returning? Why are we here, and what were we before we were here? Every question that religion has ever tried to answer. Every premise that philosophy was built on. Every mystery that science is still working to resolve. All of it has the same origin point: an unoccupied mind, reaching outward because stillness was unbearable. And then there is the question of language itself. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar has spent decades studying the social behavior of early human groups, and his findings reframe something we take entirely for granted. Dunbar's research shows that approximately 65% of all human conversation, across cultures and throughout history, is not logistical. It is social. It is the sharing of stories, of relationships, of what happened to someone both speakers know. What we casually dismiss as gossip is, in Dunbar's reading, the primary bonding mechanism of the human species. Before language, our primate relatives bonded through physical grooming. But grooming is slow and strictly one-to-one. A creature with complex social dependencies and an expanding group size needed something faster, something that could reach more individuals simultaneously. Language filled that role. And language, Dunbar argues, did not emerge primarily to coordinate hunts or negotiate resource sharing. It emerged because groups of early humans were sitting together with nothing pressing to do, and they began to talk about each other, about absent members, about what had happened, and what might happen next. Boredom did not merely pass the time around those fires. It gave humans the social technology to build trust at a scale no other species had achieved. It created the conditions for cooperation. It invented community. Here is what almost nobody stops to consider. Every structure of meaning that holds human civilization together, art, music, religion, language, philosophy, storytelling, emerged not from necessity, but from surplus. From the excess time that a capable, well-fed, reasonably safe group of early humans did not know what to do with. The oldest known cave paintings were not survival manuals. The earliest known burial rituals were not logistical procedures. They were responses to time, to silence, to the peculiar human inability to accept that a moment should mean nothing. Modern psychology has begun to verify this at the neurological level. Researcher Sandy Mann's work at the University of Central Lancashire demonstrated that subjects who performed intensely tedious tasks, copying numbers from a phone book, for example, showed significantly elevated scores on creative thinking assessments immediately afterward. The brain, denied external input, turned inward. And what it produced there, when given no other option, was original. Boredom does not empty the mind. It fills it with what the mind itself has to offer. We are living, right now, in an era defined by the systematic elimination of that experience. Every gap, every silence, every unscheduled moment is instantly filled. The queue at the coffee shop, the pause between meetings, the 2 minutes before sleep. We have built an entire technological infrastructure whose primary function is to ensure that the human mind is never left unoccupied. And something is being lost in that transaction, something older than writing, older than agriculture, older than the first city ever built from mud and ambition. The person who drilled holes in shells 75,000 years ago was not doing so out of practicality. They were doing so because the alternative, sitting still with an active mind and nothing to direct it toward, produced an internal pressure that had to go somewhere. And wherever it went, it produced something. A bead, a flute, a question, a story,
A god.
a civilization. Boredom was not the enemy of the ancient mind. It was the condition under which the ancient mind revealed what it was actually capable of. And if you are willing to sit with it long enough, it may still be willing to do the same.